I'm trying to touch the States this time. 2021. Yeah, show him I can still rap though.
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. Run it up. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the back like here I go again. Outside says chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma make, keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8-day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me. I don't need you, boo, I style me. I roll G's and they grind me. Now I'm on my game, nothing is the same. Who am I to blame? Money made me change. Cardi in my ring when I'm switching lanes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Now I got a buck for all those rainy days. Ain't have a day off in like 80 days. I got hustles in like 80 ways. Kids if you won't take a lazy day. Wifey on me told me take a break. I keep going to the paper street. Then it's trips out to Montego Bay. If I take the job, bet I get it done. I said it before, I'm a one-on-one. I just caught some ones, only wearing ones. Fornicate the funds, money made me calm. Diamonds on your neck, bet they on your neck. You want that watch, you better rock a tech. You want that chain, you better cop a vest. You want the check, but can you make it stretch?
And it looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers. We're 9 weeks in, and this gets more and more fun every week. Welcome everybody here to round 9 of FOXXXES Racing League here in Portugal, in a wet Portugal, in fact. So, split 2 rolling in. Hope everybody's having a great day. we're jumping straight in with split 2 qualifying here. Last week, Austria, lots of carnage, lots of chaos. Let's talk about it. Spaghetti Mafia, first place, doing what Spaghetti Mafia does. Second place was Bernard, doing what Bernard does up into P2 there. P3 was Kuba, and only his second race here in FRL. So, lots of drivers moving around. Lots of crazy things happened last week. Looking at constructors here, McLaren up on top of the constructors. Williams P2, Aston Martin P3. Haas down into 4th place in the constructors. But the gaps are not that far apart. Split 2's been a very evenly matched split so far. And here in round 9 of 14, there's still no clear winner. It's 3 points between Wasserschwein and Spaghetti. And then there's a 34-point gap from there. But as we always see, one DNF can throw the whole thing on its head. So I don't hold anything against anyone here. Looking at different results and different things here. Penalties last week played a big part of round 8. And really mixed things up a bit. And of course, qualifying gaps were extremely close. It's Austria. Everybody loves Austria. But things were super close. Here in Portugal, I am expecting a bit wider of a spread. Portugal is a track where things can be pretty crazy and pretty chaotic at times. So I'm really expecting a bit more spread out here, as Gamer's the first driver to start a lap. And you can see he about ate traffic right at the first corner. Almost had a bad time there for him, but luckily he did not. Wet track. Portugal already a track that drivers slide around on. So I'm predicting that it is going to bring a lot of the same for us here. A lot more sliding, a lot more craziness. Penalty points right now, there's a lot of drivers that are pretty much on the edge with penalty points. So Crash and Fabian both have 9 penalty points a pop. Few drivers looking pretty high up there in penalty points. Tipove, of course, had 16 penalty points to his name. That's all reset, as he has served his race ban. So, but penalties always playing a part here in FRL, so it's really interesting to watch. Gamer doing a pretty solid lap here as the first driver starting out, but wet track, I anticipate things are going to keep going at the moment. First lap's coming in here. Spaghetti Mafia with a 125.8 as we go through. Tipove coming around. Yeah, well, if I could get on Tipove here as he's coming through the first sector. Big lock up there as he comes into the hairpin left-hander, and still looking really good at the moment. Coming around second sector here. Drivers being really timid, which I don't blame him. It appears that it may dry up as qualifying goes, which means we should see lap times pretty dramatically change as we go. Probably coming around the final couple of corners. We'll see what time he puts in as he comes across. You can see he is pretty far off the pace at the moment. Puts in a 128.4 that's going to lock him into P10 at the moment. We'll jump on board here with Kushor, who's coming through the middle sector. And coming around. Very, very hilly, very, very curvy track Portugal is. So Very dangerous, very simple to make a mistake here as we go through. So it's going to be one of those things where consistency is going to be key. And for the drivers, it's going to be all about their persistence, their patience, and who is willing to take the least amount of risk to get the most reward. Coming down around the final corner and coming up the hill to the start-finish line. Let's see here. Kushor goes up into P9 with a 127.4. A good time coming from him. We're going to jump on board here with Wasserschwein, who's coming around middle sector. Wasserschwein, of course, currently the leader of the driver standings, only by 3 points on Spaghetti, but still leading nonetheless. He's going to be looking this week to expand his lead and secure a little bit more of a comfort gap to help him through the rest of the season here. Of course, no DNFs this season, 2 top steps of the podium, 4 podiums overall, and never finished outside of the top 10. Finished P9 last week, but a strong driver, and going to be really exciting to see where he can throw this Aston Martin as he comes around here. Final couple of corners, sends it downhill in the final turn to go uphill to the start-finish line, and Wasserschwein is going to put in a 126.4, throws himself up into P4 at the moment. His teammate Vixie invalidating his lap here. Fishu on an outlap, Youngies in the pits, and Offski on an outlap as well. So at the moment, it appears that for drivers going around, it's a lot of timid consistency that they're putting in. Nobody looking to really put in a lot of risk as Wasserschwein spins out there in the first sector and hits the wall. And is back underway here. We'll jump on board with Gamer, who is out on an outlap getting ready to start his push. Coming through the middle sector here. Gamer, a pretty consistent driver, currently P10 in the driver standings, consistently finishing either just outside the points or just in the points. So should be fun to watch him this weekend as well and see where he can put his Alfa Romeo and what he can go through. We're going to jump here with Fishu, who's invalidated his lap again. Lots of drivers struggling to put in laps. We've got laps in, but these last few drivers have yet to put in a solid lap. Offski coming around on a flying lap himself as he's coming through here. Middle sector looking pretty solid so far. Looking really solid as he comes through around to the end of the middle sector. A 59.6 through the middle sector. Good time so far. He's got just a few more corners to try to find some improvement. We'll see exactly what he puts in here as he comes around. It looks like he's going to be a little bit off the pace potentially, but should not be too far. Spaghetti Mafia puts in a 125.7, improving there for the Spaghetti. And as Offski comes across, he is going to be putting in a 128.3. Puts himself up into P16. Slowest time on the board so far. We're going to jump on board here with Kuba, who is coming across and just starting a flying lap right there behind Offski. If you look at the timing table and you see some drivers showing on softs, I promise they're not trying to run soft tires on a wet track. They are probably just looking at their car setup and preparing for the race. So ignore that if it says they're on soft tires. Uchik puts in a 126.0 and kicks himself up into P2. A really good looking time on 5-lap-old intermediate tires. Kuba purple in the middle sector, looking really, really strong here from the Haas driver. And as Kuba comes around the final corner, he puts in a 125.8, good enough for P2, 0.3 up on his previous time. Kepa has currently invalidated his lap. We're going to jump on board here with Kushor, who is just starting his flying lap coming around here in the Ferrari. Kushor currently setting P13 in the Drivers' Championships. And in Constructors, Ferrari currently are sitting P9. So the Tifosi need to see some really, really strong improvement this week to jump up a little bit higher there in the Constructor standings. And as Kushor comes around the middle sector here, looking really strong so far from the driver. A little bit off the pace, it appears, but not bad times at all. As he goes through, you can tell that he is really working on just being comfortable. And invalidating his lap there at the end of the middle sector. So this lap is not going to count for him. We'll jump on board here with Topove, who is just starting a flying lap here. 5.5 minutes left to go in this qualifying session here in Split 2. If you're new to FRL, it's one 18-minute qualifying session and a 50% race. Sepulveda going up the hill here and then coming back down in the middle sector and then slings it left to go back uphill again. Biggest challenge for these drivers is going to be just how much this track hills and flows. I can't think of words today. So as they come through, and you can see a little bit of a tail snap there from Topove as he comes around, but that is going to be the biggest challenge for these drivers, is just holding on to it as there's so much weight change and shifting in momentum as they go through the track. Topove coming around the final corner to go up the hill, and he is going to improve himself to P13. Puts in a 127.3, really strong time there from him. You can see drivers setting on softs, but still in the pit, so it looks like they're just looking at strategy for the race. On board here with Topove, there's no more rain falling, so it could be some of these drivers, if they're willing to risk it, could get a good lap out on softs. But that remains to be seen, and it looks like the first driver that's going to risk it is Pink here. Being very timid here on his outlap on softs. And then Kepa, of course, going out as well, spinning immediately out of the pit exit. So call for softs, a risky call, and just looking at how much trouble Kepa is having trying to keep it on track, I don't know that it was worth the risk. You could see just a bit of a dry line forming, but I don't know that there's enough of a dry line to justify being out on the soft compound tires. Let's stick on board here with Kepa for just another second as we watch him attempt this. May be okay to do it, but I don't know for sure. Let's jump on board here. Spaghetti invalidating his lap as he comes around. Looked like he was in for a really strong time, though, going through until he invalidated. We'll jump on board here with Butrick right behind him, who's on a flying lap. And as we look here, a minute 30 left in qualifying, still have Kepa and Pink out on their soft compound tires at the moment, and it looks like Tipove has retired from the session at the start-finish straight. Just a little bit longer left in qualifying for these drivers to try to throw in times. If they haven't went out on softs at this point, then it's probably too late to attempt it. And looking at Kepa, he is way off the pace at the moment, so soft tires not the call at the moment here. And looking at Pink as well, I don't believe he is in a great time either. Coming around here, Pink has invalidated his lap there on the soft tires, but you can see just how far off the pace he was, and he almost came into the hash there right at the end. 15 seconds left to go in qualifying, so if drivers aren't out on flying laps, it's game over for them at this point. Looking through at times, Wasserschwein trying to come around and improve, and a little bit behind on his time here. Velix coming around here in the middle sector, and that is the checkered flag drop. So as drivers come around, this is going to be all they wrote. Spaghetti Mafia holding on to a 125.7, 80 Gamer a 126.6, not improving. So he is going to be set where he's at. Velix in the middle sector coming around. His teammate just in front there coming out of the final sector. Coming through. Kushor coming around the final couple of corners. And Kushor, is he going to improve any? It looks like he's a little bit behind, but good pace at the moment. Will he improve as he comes across? He puts in a 127.0, does improve by 0.3 up into P13. Coming behind him there is going to be Wasserschwein. Wasserschwein coming up the hill, and Wasserschwein is going to set in a 126.2 secured on P5. Behind him, Gamer and Offski secured in their places, and then Kushor coming around, P13 still locked in. Behind them, you have Bernard and Puchaj, who are coming across. P9 and P10 locked in where they're at. Just a few more drivers to set in times and hold on to where they're at. Bis 2000 coming across. Bis 2000 invalidating his lap, so he is done there. Pink coming around the final corner. Is Pink going to improve any? As Pink comes across here, Pink is just going to pit right in. No sort of improvement for him, so that is game over there. So that is going to be your qualifying grid setup for where they're at. As Kepa comes around, Kepa invalidating, so no room for improvement for him. You can see just how timid he's having to be as he spins out here in the final corner through the gravel straight into the wall. And that is going to be your qualifying over here. Spaghetti, Kuba, Buchik, Kepa, Wasserschwein, Senior, 80 Gamer, Velix, Bernard, Puchaz, Tipove, Fishu, Kushor, Pink, Bis, Gamer, Offski, Vixie, Crash, and Youngies. So, qualifying grid is set here as we watch the last couple of drivers kind of go around, set in some times, and relax out here. That is all she wrote here for this qualifying session here in Split 2 of FRL. Stick with us here just a couple minutes. When we come back, it is going to be time for an exciting race. I'm really excited for this race. I think it's going to be a good 33 laps of action. Cloudy, overcast at the moment, which should make things exciting here. Spaghetti Mafia is leading everybody around here on the formation lap. All right, looking at tire strategy here. Oh, what just happened there? What in the world was that? That was a interesting moment to happen there. I was not prepared for that. Okay, well, that was interesting. Looking at tire strategies here, it looks like, for the most part, medium tires are the preferred option. Only 3 drivers, FOXXXES, Tipove, well, 4 drivers, 80 Gamer and Buchik, opting to go out on softs. Everybody else out on the mediums at the moment. Should be interesting to kind of watch how the tire deck goes through and exactly where everything hits. As we come around, a couple of sprinkles there in the camera, I believe. Right there around the final corner, I thought I saw a couple of raindrops, but I'm not sure at the moment. So I wonder if weather's still going to play a factor here in the Split 2 race. We know that FRL and weather love to mix things up and let things be crazy, so it's going to be interesting to watch where everything happens. 33 laps of action getting ready to come at you here in Split 2, as Youngies is the last driver to form up here on the grid. And as we lock in here, all drivers are in position, and we are going to get ready to go underway here. And it is going to be 5 red lights, and we are going to be... Oh, Fishy with a major jump start. We are underway here in Split 2 of round 9. And as you can see, first corner coming through, 3 wide, pushing a lot of drivers around. And there's a big contact there on Senor from the Red Bull at Tipove. As we come around, drivers already spinning out there. Buchik and Puchaz, of course, already spinning back underway here. Preferred tire strategy did pop up. I didn't even pay attention to it. I'm not for sure what it even said. And as we go around, you can still see Carnage back in the midfield, still 3 wide going down there. And who is that with a massive dive bomb? That was FOXXXES with a huge dive bomb and now getting spun out there, it looks like. Barely keeping it on track. Crazy action here in the midfield already starting. And I think it's far from over here as we go through lap 1. Drivers side by side. You can see Tipove and Bernard right there side by side as they come around. And it looks like Bernard has spun out and lost out there for him, unfortunately. Things are starting to sort of organize out, but even then, not really. They're organizing out here through these first few corners. Kushor there in P11 trying to have a run around, and it looks like Kushor gets around there. BIS 2000 losing out big time. Crash right side by side as they come through. And it looks like strategy, soft hards or medium hards, tire deck a big issue here. And it looks like as we come around, Spaghetti Mafia is going to be up into P1. The front of the field kind of calming down a little bit, but the midfield doing anything but. Fishy spinning out there out of the start, the final corner on the start-finish straight. Fishy dropping way back in the pits, actually. And then Gamer 2021 and Buchik all having a pit as well, as Pink gets around BIS 2000 here for P12. And as we come around here, it looks like Kushor having a good run here on Crash as well. Youngie's having a run, though, on Kushor as well as we come through. 3 wide going down. And Kushor is going to try to dive it around the outside here to get past Youngie's. He's going to do a little bit of a slipstream calm down here. And as we go through middle sector, everybody's relaxed. Everybody's back underway. So... after a chaotic first couple of laps here, things have calmed down here. Spaghetti, Wasserschwein, 80 Gamer, Kuba, Kepa, Tipove, Senor, Velix, Crash, Youngies, Kushor, Pink, FOXXXES, Bis, Vixie, Puchaz, Bernard, Fishu, Gamer, and Puchik. So everyone calming down here early after what I would say was not a very calm start there. We saw that massive dive bomb from FOXXXES there right in turn 1. A little bit of rain falling here and there that you can see, but how is that going to affect the drivers? And it looks like the rain's actually starting to get a little bit heavier. You can see the drops hitting on the visors and on the camera here of the drivers as we go through. So are the drivers going to have to pit and go on to intermediates at any point? So is the pit strategy going to be all for nothing as the rain continues to come down? Will it come down any harder? Coming around here, Wasserschwein, a little bit of a run here on Spaghetti Mafia. Not much of a run, but just enough that it might actually give him an opportunity to pass. Of course, Wasserschwein, Spaghetti 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship so far. So for these drivers, it's very essential that one of them get the advantage on the other. Wasserschwein, a pit strategy genius, though. So if there's anyone to watch for when to pit, what to do, it's always Wasserschwein. Of course, having that massive win in Spain last season, helping AD Gamer to a massive win as well. As we come around here in the end of the third sector as the drivers come through, and it looks like at the moment Wasserschwein and Spaghetti and AD Gamer all kind of locking their intervals where they're at. So the front of the field really relaxing. I can't say the same for the midfield, though. We're going to jump back here. Massive battle going on between FOXXXES and Pink. You can see Pink diving the inside here, almost having a little contact with FOXXXES, but it looks like just barely avoiding it. And as we come around here, Pink and Puchaz might be having a run on each other as we go through. Pink into the pits, though. Puchaz, DRS open, trying to chase down FOXXXES as we go through. We're going to jump up here now because it looks like the battle for 7th is starting to heat up here. Crash, Senor, and Youngies all trying to chase each other down. Around here into the middle sector, this left-hander is absolutely gorgeous and possibly my favorite corner in Formula One. As we go through, I feel like I say something's my favorite corner every week, but that's just how it is. I love everything. As we go through, rain's getting a little heavier. We can see a little bit of traction issues as we go through. So coming around here, Crash settling and building up a gap here on Senor and his teammate Youngie, so things are relaxing there in the midfield. I can't say the same for the front, though, as Wasserschwein at one point had a very, very close run on Spaghetti, but now things have spread out a little bit again. And as we come around, another lap of drivers not going into the pits. DRS still enabled, so not at that transition point quite yet. As we watch Wasserschwein gap down to 0.3 as they come into turn 1. You can see a little bit of traction issues here and there. Kuba and AD Gamer swapping positions in the battle for P3. And it looks like Puchaz and FOXXXES swapping positions as well. DRS being a big help. A little bit of a whirl there from Spaghetti Mafia, but thankfully not costing him his position there as they come through. Around in the middle sector into this great uphill section that goes right back downhill as they come around. And they're trying to chase each other down. Great battle coming in here in the midfield. It looks like, again, Senor, Youngies, and Crash all still battling. And it looks like Youngies is trying to have a good run on Senor. Had a little bit of a nose in there. Not close enough in order to make a pass and make things convert. And it looks like we have a yellow flag in the middle sector. It looks like Pink has spun. We'll see if he gets back underway or if it is going to be the cause for a VSC or a safety car. He's back underway. So no harm, no foul there. Lap 6 coming around. Vixie getting a 3-second time penalty. Youngies still trying to chase down Senor. And you can see in front of that, Crash and Topove swapping out here with DRS. But Topove trying to go back on the offensive. Not close enough at the moment. So with DRS, Crash was able to get that pass done and get around. So Youngies and Senor still trying to chase each other down as they come through. Off-ski receiving a 3-second time penalty here. And as we come through, it looks like the front of the field, there's a little bit of a glitch in the timing charts, but looking down, it looks like Wasserschwein and Spaghetti are chasing each other down a little bit, the gap not too far apart. And as they go through here, DRS is open, a tenth and a half, a tenth. This is the closest Youngies has been to being able to make this pass. Is he going to make the pass here? And he is not. He backs out of it going into turn one. But he is extremely close. This is the closest he's been to Senor this whole time. So as they come around, DRS is going to open for the second time. And he's going to have a peek here. They're going to be side by side as they come through into the turn. Youngies has the inside, Senor has the outside. Senor with a little bit better of a run, better traction out of the corner, as Youngies has to hold the inside, and that means that Senor holds on to this again. We have a spin there in the middle sector. It looks like that is Wasserschwein who has spun out at the moment. So Wasserschwein losing out big time. Again, he was close to getting another pass done, but Wasserschwein dropping back here, potentially losing out to Kepa as well. Spaghetti Mafia currently in the lead with a 4.3 second gap. We'll jump on board here with Kepa, who's very close to having this pass done on Wasserschwein, and they're going side by side, and it looks like Kepa got the pass done here before the DRS zone. Youngies and Senor finally inverting, as well as Youngies finally gets the pass done here going into turn one. Youngies will be very thankful for that, as that will free him up to try to chase down to Pove 5 seconds of the gap he needs to make up. But you can see traction, a little bit of an issue for Youngies, it looks like, as he's on 10-lap old medium tires, which is really impressive that that is an issue he's having. Let's jump back on board here with, it looks like Kushor, who is in a tight battle at the moment with Bernard and Velix and Puchaz as they come around. These drivers closing up big time, and you can see just barely any gap separating them, as we're going to have a crazy battle coming up as the Hassa Senor comes back on track. Senor spinning out at some point, everybody having to spook to get away from him and hold on. Senor trying to keep on any position he can, so he's going to slide in behind this battle that we're watching. Everybody very, very close together at the moment. And as we're coming around the final few corners here, 0.7 of a second, the gap between each of these drivers, still a light drizzle on the track. And as we come around the final corner, Senor 0.2 of a second back on Puchaz and trying to chase him down here. And they are going to have a little bit of contact there, as it looks like Puchaz was wanting to dive into the pits here. And Senor was trying to get around him on the inside. That was almost very dangerous, but luckily things sorted itself out here. And as we go through, Kushor 0.3 of a second behind his teammate Velix, and Bernard a second behind that. And it looks like Puchaz and Vixie, the first drivers to switch over to intermediate tires, even though DRS is open. So they seem to think that we're about to hit the transition point, even though it looks like at the moment the dry compound tires are working out for some of these drivers. And as we go through, some of the drivers on the medium and soft compound tires, still the tires they started the race with. We have a yellow flag in Sector 3. It looks like that is going to be for one of the Aston Martins, and I believe that is Vixie who has went off the track. So I don't know exactly what is happening here. This is some of the weirdest weather conditions I've seen in this game for a while. You have rain, you have some drivers on intermediates, but some drivers still on their dry compound tires, and everything seems to be working. I don't see any traction issues from these drivers. And right as I say that, you can see Kushor sliding a little bit there into the corner, so maybe we are hitting that transition point as we go through, and we're watching. At the moment, I can't tell. And still on board here. We're going to sit on board here with Kepa for just a second because I want to see how he is handling. You can see it's not really, like, it doesn't look like they're having issues handling, but it's still right at that point. Let's jump on board here with FOXXXES as we watch, and let's see how he's handling the conditions. There's no tire spray coming off, but it looks like he isn't having that much of an issue either. So I don't know what the call is. I don't know what the right tire is at the moment. Somebody's going to get it right, though, and I can't tell you who it is. We'll jump on board here with our leader, Spaghetti Mafia, as he is starting to catch up to some of the first lap traffic that he's going to have to get around here in Gamer and Fishu. Tipove going into the pits and going onto a fresh set of hard compound tires here. Some of the weirdest conditions I've seen here in F1 2021 in a long time. BIS 2000 on a fresh set of mediums. So it looks like at the moment the drivers very, very mixed on what they think the best tire and the best conditions are. As we're here in lap 14, and Spaghetti just cruising his way around at the moment. 4 seconds the gap between him and Kuba, and then he has 8 seconds on 80 Gamer between them, and then 6 seconds the gap between Wasserschwein and 80 Gamer. So very, very large gaps forming here in the field, unless your name is Senor, as you are going to be battling Kushor here in the third sector to get around, and it looks like Senor and Velix and Kushor, this battle is far from over. And 80 Gamer into the pits off of his soft compound tires. Let's see what tire he decides to go on, and he is on a set of intermediates. So some drivers on fresh hards, a couple drivers on fresh mediums, but then we have 3 drivers on the intermediate tire. I don't know what the right call is here. And I don't think the drivers know what the right call is either, as Youngies goes into a fresh set of soft compound tires. Can anyone tell me what the plan is here or what's going on? Yellow flag sector 3, and it looks like that is going to be for potentially BIS 2000. It looks like the track is starting to get a little wetter as we come around here. DRS is still open, so the DRS has not been disabled yet, as we're on lap 15 of 33, almost at the halfway point of this race. And as we're watching this battle here for 7th place continue, yellow flag sector 3 again. It looks like that is for BIS 2000, who spins out of the exit of the final corner. I'm wondering if some of these drivers who pitted in for soft compound tires made a gamble, and that gamble's not going to pay off here as we watch. But it doesn't look like Senor has lost traction, and he's on 14 lap all mediums. So the tire calls are all the question here, and Pink DNFing out, and that is going to be a safety car deployed. So let's take a look here and watch and see what these drivers on these old medium tires decide to do. Is they've seen a couple drivers out on intermediates, so we're going to see what the game plan is. As Senor doesn't pit, he seemed like he was for a second. Bernard, Kushor, Velix in the pits. So what is going to be their game plan? I see Bernard on intermediates, Kushor on intermediates. Velix going on intermediates. Youngies went on a fresh set of softs. Tipove on a fresh set of mediums. Crash on intermediates. So a lot of drivers switching over now. Vucic on a set of mediums. So I don't know if anyone has any clue what the best strategy is here. We'll jump on board with Spaghetti. Spaghetti's still not going into the pits on his medium compound tires. So either a very, very bad gamble being made from some of these drivers, or This is going to be the master play of strategy, unlike anything we've seen. Kuba going in and going onto a set of softs. So some drivers thinking that the weather is not bad enough at the moment. Wasserschwein in the pits. And what his Wasserschwein got ready. Wasserschwein has intermediates ready, and we'll see here what Kepa has ready. Kepa has intermediates ready. So that transition point is hit for a lot of these drivers, but for some of them it has not yet. So we'll see whenever the safety car ends what the best strategy is. You can see the track is visibly wet. So this could be the gamble that didn't pay off for these drivers. Looking here at lap time, Spaghetti with a 125, the fastest lap of the race, a 127 from Kuba, 128 from Crash, and a 125.54, just barely off of Spaghetti's time there from Wasserschwein. So things being really close as we go through here. Lap 17 with a safety car deployed. Finally, Spaghetti Mafia is in the pits. What tire is Spaghetti going to go on? I would say there's only one option at this point. And maybe I lied. Maybe soft compound tires are the option. I don't know about that one. I really don't know about that one. That is a interesting decision. Oh, and Spaghetti and who was that? Spaghetti and another driver coming together there out of the pit exit. I don't know if they just didn't see each other or what that was, but that was a... That is going to be a discussion later between stewards, because that was very dangerous. As Spaghetti comes across, hopefully Spaghetti doesn't have any side pod or wing damage and got away with that. I wonder which Aston Martin that was. My guess is it was Wasserschwein. It was either Wasserschwein or it was Vixie, and I'm not sure which one. It looks like Wasserschwein doesn't have wing damage. Let's double check with Vixie really quick. Vixie doesn't have damage either, so whoever it was got away very lucky. Currently Kuba in the lead here on a set of soft compound tires. Conditions are very weird at the moment, and I'm still trying to figure out, like, what is happening, what the best option is here. We're still waiting on the field to rack up at the moment, which is what I'm mostly confused about. AD Gamer and Buchik inverting positions there. That was really weird. All right, safety car called in this lap, even though things are still spread out and kind of a mess going around. And drivers forming up double files, stopping, glitching about. I'm very confused as to what is happening right now. Crash retiring from the session here. We're back underway at the moment, and you can see carnage absolutely going on here as drivers are too wide all the way through the field here. Swapping up Spaghetti, getting past Kepa as he goes through on soft compound tires. I'm very confused as to what's going on, but still good racing underway here as we're watching Spaghetti Mafia on his tires trying to chase things down, dealing with a little bit of lap traffic there and what I believe is 80 Gamer that he's trying to get around as well as we go through. Vixie DNFing out of the session here. Pink DNFing, Crash and Puchaz are all DNF'd at the moment. Lap 20 of 33 as we go through. And Wasserschwein in the lead with an 8/10 gap on Youngi's gap. 1.3 seconds here with Spaghetti Mafia. And then a second back through. So things really calm at the moment unless your name is Ofsky. And then you're half a second back here on Bernard. A tenth of a second back trying to get the pass done as he goes around the outside here of Bernard and gets that pass done. As they come down the main straight here, Kepa trying to get the pass done on Kuba, diving around here on the outside. Wasserschwein picking up a 3-second time penalty as they come around here. Still some lap traffic for them to deal with, but as they go through, and there goes the Spaghetti Mafia spinning and getting a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting in the mix as well. Looks like he hit the sausage curb and just completely lost it. We're back up here, though. Kepa and Kuba still battling it out, and it seems like things are still looking good here. Kushor right behind trying to get a pass done as well. And as we come around up over the hill and around, coming around here, lap 21 of 33, and you can see Kuba still trying to send it through and spinning there on the inside, hitting the wall hard right at the pit entrance. And that is surely going to be a safety car underway. And his teammate, Senor, does the exact same thing behind him. So both Hasses DNF in the same way in the same corner. That is painful to see. And safety car back out here on lap 21. Alright, I need someone to seriously fill me in on what's happening here. Because this is really, really weird what's happening. Still a few drivers out on dry compound tires. Most notably Spaghetti Mafia. So we'll see if they pit here under safety car. And Spaghetti's still not pitting. Still committed to his soft compound tires here. Kepa into the pits here. Bernard into the pits. Kepa going onto a fresh set of softs here on lap 23. 10 laps to go. And Bernard onto a fresh set of softs as well. Okay, so somebody knows some strategy that I don't. Either intermediates are a horrible call, or dries are risky but working, or intermediates are having to manage their temps like nobody's business, or the FIA are having a beer and have no clue what's going on and they're just letting things happen. I don't know what's going on. I'm the commentator. I do not understand what is happening at the moment. Because, I mean, even under safety car with Spaghetti, like, his grip is fine. Look at this. Well, a little bit of slippy slidey, but his tires are probably getting cold, so I wonder if he is rethinking his decision here to stay out on these softs. But then you have Kepa and Bernard that are on fresh softs that are doing pretty much just fine. Maybe Spaghetti knows that there's nothing he can do at the moment and he just needs to hold on. The track is visibly wet though, which is what's confusing. This 2000 into the pits, we'll see if he decides to opt for intermediates and just kind of suffer and take his loss for where he's at. And it looks like he may have just been serving a drive-through because he is still on those fresh softs. Another notable one, Buchik out on 7-lap old medium tires. I love this shot. This is my favorite shot in this game. His angle is gorgeous as they come through. So I'm going to need somebody to tell me what the best decision here is. But if you're youngies, you're celebrating what you've done because you're up 18 positions currently. So cinematic masterpiece, let's be honest. This track is the prettiest track in F1. Safety car going to be in this lap. So as they come around, that means Wasserschwein is going to take control of the field here through the third sector. So when he decides to go is when they're going to go. I'm going to be watching Spaghetti Mafia through the start of this because I'm really, really concerned how the Spaghetti is going to hold on. So Wasserschwein taking us back in our way here. Spaghetti getting a great run here and actually passing Velix, who is on the intermediate tire. And then he's getting a good run here on Kushor, Youngies, and Vasser as we come through. And he gets the run on the outside of Kushor. So he's passed both Ferraris right off the bat. So a great run there from him. You can see back in the midfield, it looks like Topove and Ofsky battling here with Buchik as well. Buchik getting around Fishu there, and 80 Gamer trying to have his say in the mix as well. So apparently dry compound tires are still the way to go, because if you look at the run Spaghetti just got, it's, I mean, unspoken. And look at 80 Gamer there having a big dive on the inside. A little bit of connection jumping, but 80 Gamer with the massive dive bomb getting underway here, and Spaghetti Mafia has a run here on Youngies at the moment. Is Spaghetti going to get the pass done as he goes around the outside here? He has almost has it done, and now he has it done. Look at that. Spaghetti Mafia up into P2 off the restart. Great decisions there. So all these drivers on intermediates are going to have to pit again, it looks like, as the rain has stopped falling now. Weird conditions going through, but the rain has now officially stopped falling. So and there is Wasserschwein diving in. There is Youngies diving in. I would imagine we're going to see Velix, the Ferrari, staying out another lap here at the moment, along with Topolve. So a few drivers diving in, realizing that now is the time to change back to dry compound tires. So I don't know if it was ever intermediate conditions, but it might have been close. So as we go here, Spaghetti Mafia with the power strategy up back into P1. And we have a yellow flag in Sector 1 there. It looks like that's Spaghetti's teammate Fishu, who has spun out there in the first sector. Tight battles going around here, and you can see that is a ghosted car diving around the inside. I don't know who that is. It might have been BIS 2000. Let's check really quick. It was BIS 2000, the lap car, who's just trying to run through people and get back up into the lead. Things are still super close here in the midfield. So we go through here. 80 Gamer dropping back. You can see Kepa having a big dive up the inside there and actually running into Buchik there, and then almost costing, I believe that was 80 Gamer, his position there. Kepa with a massive lockup or dive bomb one. DRS is now re-enabled, so the transition time has hit. These drivers on intermediates are going to have to come back in. It looks like Velix pitting this lap. Topolve in. Offski in. Kepa's going to come in, who's on soft tires. So some sort of carnage just happened there at the pit entrance that we missed. So here on lap 27 to 33, it is pit lane carnage coming in and out to you. It looks like Kepa going on, changing a front wing and going onto a fresh set of softs. So all these drivers going in fresh softs. Kushor, the only driver still on intermediates, and I would guess that is because Ferrari didn't want to double stack, but that is going to compromise Kushor big time as we have a run through here, and Bernard getting past Kushor with absolute ease here. So as we come through with pit stops now ran around, the gaps are all very spread out. Spaghetti, though, opting to stay onto his softs. A 11 second gap on Buchik currently. So everything's pretty well calmed down throughout the field now. As we look here, Offski trying to get the pass done here on Velix. They're side by side. They're going around. Offski getting very, very close there with Velix, but getting the pass done here. Lap 28. 14 drivers still in. We started with 20. And now Kushor is diving into the pits here on his 11-lap-old intermediates, and he is going to be, I would imagine, yep, fresh set of softs to finish out this race. And as we come up, DRSs are open for multiple drivers here. Offski, multiple drivers getting past Kushor here as he's still in the pit. So Kushor is going to come out here in P9, but only just, as he does have Kepa right behind him there trying to catch up. And then he's got about a 4-second gap here on Topolve, who is trying to catch up with Velix at the moment as they come around here through the best corner. You can see Topove had a bit of a dive there on Velix, but was not able to convert. And you can see right there in the back, Kepa having a bit of a dive on Kushor. As we come around here, Bernard very, very close to Buchik. DRS open. He should be able to have the pass done down this straightaway as he looks there. Buchik going defensive on the inside. Bernard on the outside. And the pass is done before turn one. Now we're seeing the lap times drop significantly. Wasserschwein a 1:19.8. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. Back behind these drivers. Off ski. Having DRS on his teammate, trying to go through. His teammate, of course, lapped at the moment. Gamer taking advantage of the DRS to build a gap here. And Velix and Topove inverting positions there under the DRS. This battle is far from over there as Velix thought about a dive on the inside, barely missing the front wing there. Yellow flag sector 1 behind him. It looks like that is going to be for 80 Gamer spinning out of the first couple of corners. And drivers coming through here. We're going to jump back up here with Buchik, who has 0.8 of a second here on Bernard as they come through the final sector. Spaghetti Mafia setting a 1:19.6 fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Yellow flag sector 2 as it looks like Offski has spun. But he is back underway. But that is going to be detrimental for him and his chase for the front of the field. 3 laps to go here as we look on board with Buchik, who closes the gap up to roughly 3.5 tenths. Wasserschwein with a 1:19.1, setting faster times than Spaghetti. Of course, Spaghetti in the lead, though. As we come around, Buchik running a little wide there, but still trying to chase down the drivers. And we'll jump on board here as they come down the main straight. Velix, Kepa, and Topove trying to have a good battle here and chase each other down. Of course, DRS open, not close enough for a pass to happen down the main straight, but can they convert here through the second straight? And a little bit of tire contact there as Kepa gets around Velix. And you can see Kepa trying to have a dive on the inside of Topove there. Yellow flag sector 1. That is going to be for Fishu spinning again, I believe. Still watching this battle here in the middle. I would check in with Spaghetti, but he's got a 12.5 second gap, so there's really no reason to at the moment. As they come around here in Sector 1, Bernard still trying to chase down Buchik with only a couple laps to go. Not close enough for a pass, but still consistently cutting that gap down, which is really the key here. Penalties are going to serve out and play a major factor. For all of these drivers. Back into P7. Kepa only 0.3 of a second now off of Topove as they come through here into the second DRS zone, and a little bit worse of a run there for Topove. So Kepa might have the run here. He's going to dive up the inside, and does he have the pass done? He does have the pass done as he shuts the door there on Topove coming around. So Kepa gets himself up into P6 on track. Going around here, lap 32 of 33 in the closest battle right now is Kepa and Topove, 0.6 of a second here. As Spaghetti basically has around half a sector on Bernard at the moment. Yellow flag sector 2, and that is again going to be Fish Shoe, it looks like. And as we go through here, Topove getting close to Kepa, but not being able to follow close enough in order to get everything happening. And in order to make this pass occur here, Offski and Kushor having a tight battle here. A couple laps to go, so these drivers are going to get a little bit desperate and know that they have to convert in the next 2 laps. Otherwise, it is all over for them. As we see Offski having a great run there through the best corner in F1. Lap 33 of 33 starting as Spaghetti Mafia starting the final lap here for him. And as we watch, there is the pass Offski needed to get done on Kushor finally. Spaghetti rounding out in the middle sector at the moment as we look here, and Topove still not past Kepa into turn 1, very close. And Offski with a good run here on Kushor as we go through, jumping and checking in on Spaghetti Mafia as he rounds the 3rd sector. I always call Spaghetti the fan favorite because he literally is. Everybody loves Spaghetti and Meatballs. Everybody loves Spaghetti Mafia. Spaghetti Mafia winning in Austria, and Spaghetti, even with a 10-second time penalty at the moment, it isn't going to matter because he has a 12.5-second gap. So as he rounds the final corner, he started on pole. He's going to finish on pole. Spaghetti Mafia winning the race. Now, as they come around here, Bernard coming around the final corner here with Buchik right behind him. Bernard is going to finish up in P2. Buchik in P3. Wasserschwein rounding the final corner here for P4. Youngie's coming around the final hill here. Topove losing out on his battle there with Kepa. Gap down to around a second. So that battle is not going to convert for Topove. He is going to see himself on P7 on track. Of course, penalties applied. He will probably jump up. But the battle that's not over yet is Offski on Velix here as they come around. And Offski with a bit of a run here. They're side by side as they cross the line. And I don't know who actually got that. And it looks like Kushor actually got that run over the line on the final straight. Just barely. I am curious to see what that gap was. Of course, driver of the day, Youngie, starting rear of the field and finishing pretty far up the grid. And as we look here, Spaghetti Mafia with his 2nd first place in a row and his 3rd first place and his 5th podium here this season. Even though he DNF'd the first 2 races, Spaghetti Mafia 3-second gap or 3-point gap to P1 in the constructors, closing that gap way down and probably getting the lead of the constructors depending on where penalties are applied. As we look here, it was Kepa. I believe it was Kepa behind Offski by 0.03 of a second, just barely. So a great fight happening between all of the drivers here. And for Split 2, they continue to show why Split 2 is very unpredictable. Split 2 always a joy to watch, and I've really, really enjoyed it so far. 4 more races left to go in this season, and I cannot wait to see what happens. We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we will be ready with Split 1.